I gave up my streak. I started doing daily paintings on December 27th, 2024. 151 days ago from the time that I'm writing this. Every day, my job was to just do one small watercolor painting. Tomorrow, May 27th, would have made my streak exactly 5 months. And I forgot. I broke the chain. I think what happened is that because I started a new acrylic painting on canvas, that my muscle memory didn't send up the usual alarms to my brain to remind me to do the daily watercolor painting, because it felt like I had already painted that day. My first reaction when I realized that I had forgotten to do the daily painting is really embarrassing, but kind of funny and sad. My first reaction was to lie. I'll do 2 today, I'll put yesterday's date on 1, and no one will know. That thought quickly dissolved in my mind. That would have been the stupidest lie in all of history, because I don't think that there's a single other person in all of God's green planet Earth that gives 2 hoots about whether or not I paint some silly little spooky goofball painting or not. I'd only be lying to myself. And so after that whole thought spiral, I got mad at myself again for even trying to lie to myself. Then I started thinking about loopholes, like maybe I could do 2 today and that would somehow even the balance. It doesn't. 2 paintings today doesn't equal 1 painting yesterday. If a baseball player gets a hit in 150 straight games and then doesn't get a hit in the next game, but then in his 152nd game gets 2 hits, he has 2 more hits, but his streak is over. The only way to get the streak back would be to invent a time machine, which would win all sorts of awards in physics and which could actually be used for like good purposes in humanity. To invent that and use it to go back and remind my old self to do my daily painting. Hi. I'm from the future. Okay. Tomorrow. Okay. You should probably do your daily painting. All right. Okay. Even if I did have the ability and knowledge to create a time machine, I still wouldn't go back and fix my streak, because deep down inside, I would still know. So after all those first reactions and after all those mental games, my job changed. My job in regard to this was to do a small watercolor painting every day. When I realized that I had failed to do that, to create this painting every day, my job changed from that to just don't beat yourself up over it. Acceptance. In Pop Warner football, we had this little call and response thing. A coach would say, "What's the secret to success?" And then a bunch of us would go, "Discipline." And I've seen the truth of this mantra thing in my own art life. These are 2 little paintings that I did when I was first starting out about 10 years ago. These are paintings I did recently, and the difference in quality between these ones and the last two didn't come from divine revelation or inspiration or creative breakthroughs. It came from intentional and deliberate practice. It came from links in a chain. Discipline is links in a chain. Discipline is doing a painting every single day. I have this obsessive nature. I've always been this way. And discipline goes hand in hand with this obsessive nature. But when there's a break in the chain or some kind of failure, there's a darker side of my obsessive nature that creeps in and becomes an obstacle to discipline and making progress. And that is punishment. Discipline and punishment feel similar on the surface. They're made of similar stuff. But once you start grasping at them, that's when you really feel the difference. They're both rooted in a very strong cause and effect logic. If this, then this. If this, then this. If this, then this. If this, then this. They're kind of like dark and light polarities of each other. I feel like punishment is the underside of discipline. And if you're not careful, they can switch places. You can tell the difference by what they're about. Discipline is about taking steps toward a goal. Punishment is about standing in place and ruminating on what went wrong. Discipline is about reality and the bigger picture and about discovering your strength. Punishment is about your inadequacies and this current narrow failure and dwelling on your weakness. Punishment looks back, forever fixing its cold gaze on what you did wrong. Discipline looks toward the future and what you can do right, and aims its light at success. Punishment has no light. It lurches in the shadows of failure. Punishment comes knocking at the door behind the mask of discipline. And the antidote to punishment is yet more discipline. The discipline to not let punishment take over. The chain is broken. Now the job is to move on. So this month in the choir on Patreon, last month, May in the choir, I posted a bunch of behind the scenes videos, one of me making the little sets from one of my last videos, one of me making the music for that video, one of me building a custom tripod mount that my camera is actually sitting on right now, one of me talking about how I come up with titles for paintings, and all of the daily videos. I don't post them all on YouTube, but they're all, if I make a video of it, it ends up on the Patreon. Forgot to mention when I was shooting this, but I have a 30-minute sketchbook tour of all of the sketches that were in this video. So go join the Patreon to see everything, and even the stuff here you'll see earlier than you do on YouTube. Have fun. Good night. Oh, also join the Scum Choir art group on Facebook. It's free. That's where I'm trying to gather people there. So there's not a name for that. The AC's turning on. Have fun. Good night.